Hey all you beautiful people of Trans by Deaf and YouTube. It's Chris again, and I am back with another video. We are talking about support groups this week, so I figured I would walk you through my history of how I was first introduced to other people in the trans community and my first involvement in trans support groups up to the ones that I am a part of now. Um, So it all started out my freshman year of college. I bummed a cigarette off of someone when I still smoked right outside there. I did know her. She was a friend of mine, and I saw her just standing out with some people I didn't know. And so we were all outside talking and smoking, and then we went back inside into the student union building, and we went and hung out in this corner, which was nicknamed the queer corner, because everyone there was queer or trans or at least an ally to the community that would hang out there. And I feel like no matter what time of day you go during the week, there's always at least a few people there studying, hanging out, socializing, something. So it was really nice just to be around people that at the time I just thought I could relate to weirdly well. I wasn't out as trans when I first was introduced to the group. I was still IDing as more of a butch lesbian and dressing quite androgynously. Like once in a while, I would be misgendered as male, but that's about it. Um, I wasn't. I had an inkling that I myself could be trans, but I think I was still really in denial and not really wanting to deal with the whole navigating how to transition and coming out to everyone in my life. It just seemed overwhelming. I know the day that changed is the day that the support group for trans people through the university was running like trans 101 slash trans etiquette presentation, and I went to it even though I already had known pretty much all the material that they talked about. I just went to be around the community, and I don't know what it was about that night. It was either the very end of 2011 or the beginning of 2012 that this all happened, and that was the night I remember that I just knew for sure that I was trans and that a medical transition was something I wanted and needed in life, and that just presenting as androgynous and as a lesbian just wasn't me. It wasn't being authentic. And I remember just being so terrified and overwhelmed that night and sitting down with a trans guy who was several years ahead of me in the process and had just started his medical transition. And I just remember just feeling a lot of comfort, just seeing that, he was able to get through it and start the journey towards being comfortable in his body, and that if he can do it, I can do it. And it kind of just gave me hope for the future of just being able to see someone that has gone through the process and is okay and is happy. Um, so I started going to the university support group for trans people after that meeting. I really mostly just attended it my junior year of college, which was my last year of college that I did. I actually stopped going because I didn't and still don't know what I want to do career wise, and I also wanted to save up for top surgery, so I decided to not get myself into more debt without having a solid plan of career goals. So I quit going to college. But one of the girls that went to the support group was also not a student at the university, and she was a co-facilitator for a trans support group in the city that I live in now. And she told me about it, and I remember I went to my first meeting at that support group the summer of 2013. I was maybe like 6 to 8 weeks on T, so very new to just beginning my medical transition, and I had only been out to my family for like less than a year at the time. And I just remember that was the first time that I had been exposed to a variety of different kinds of trans people, because I had only really seen and spoken to trans folks that are around my age, in college and stuff. And I'd never really seen like older trans people before, and I just thought it was a really cool experience to hear other people's stories, and that there are other narratives other than the ones that are often featured in like documentaries wow, I can't talk today. Documentaries, wow. Okay, that were more marketed towards cis people, that usually like will feature a trans person that came out when they were really young. They like knew when they were like 5 or something, and they transitioned with hormones. They all wanted surgery, and so I felt like that was like the one like true definition of being trans, and it was just really cool to see just other people's stories, other people who didn't know or didn't start their transition until their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and beyond. Some had been married before, and either navigated the end of that marriage, or some stayed married through transition. Some trans people were parents already when they began their transition, so just having the element of having kids and transitioning. And I just thought it was really cool just to see different perspectives, and that like you're not more or less trans depending on like when you came out and whether or not you were married or had kids before. So it was just really nice to see that. And though when I first went, I was one of like 2 or 3 trans guys that regularly went to meetings, and it was mostly trans women. And I know over the time that I went to meetings, there was a growth of transmasculine and non-binary people, which is really cool to see, especially now as I feel like things have kind of come full circle for me. Like I was so grateful to be able to talk to guys that were further on in their transition when I was first starting out and navigating like coming out to parents, talking to them about starting hormones and stuff like that. And now I finally been able to like give back to the community and help other trans guys out who were learning how to do their testosterone shot and navigating coming out to their parents or telling them about their plans to medically transition. So it's really cool just to be able to help, because I don't know where I would be in life if I didn't receive that help when I did, because it was so needed. I was so overwhelmed, and it's so terrifying to start your transition and having to deal with coming out and other people's reactions and losing people that were close to you in life. Um, so, yeah. The downside about this support group is I unfortunately am unable to make most meetings, because they meet Saturdays at 7 at night, and that is right in the middle of my work week during much of the school year. I am laid off every summer, so I'm able to go to the meetings then, and I can usually try and make one in like March and one in December. I basically have time off whenever university students have time off. So it is nice to at least be able to see them in the summers. And though I can't make the actual meetings during the school year, I can usually meet them at the bars. They often will go to this bar after the meeting, so I can at least hang out with them then. And they also have Facebook groups, so I'm able to interact with them all year round and vent about things I need to vent about. And I'm still plugged into the community, which is nice even when I'm unable to go to meetings. The last support group that I am a part of, I just joined this one about a month ago, is a Facebook group that is for trans guys who are planning or about to have top surgery or recovering from top surgery. Um, since my day is just 4 weeks away now, I've been having like a lot of anxiety and questions about just the details of recovery and what to bring, what to expect, and stuff like that. And it's been really helpful just to see like results pictures and just the narratives of different people going through top surgery and how they prepared for it, how the first like few weeks of recovery was, what they did for like scar care and stuff like that. It's really been helping to ease my anxiety because it's just finally starting to become a lot more real, and I am getting really anxious about it. But that is something that I'm using to combat that anxiety, which is great. So I'm super happy about that support. So yeah, overall, I think support groups are such a great thing for trans people. I know it helped me out tremendously, especially when I was first starting out, and even now, it's nice when I still do have my days that I need to vent to people that understand exactly what I'm going through. Um, and yeah, all right, I'm gonna wrap this up. So I will talk to you all next week. I hope you enjoy your rest of your day slash night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.